Project Empathy's journey began in 2003. Ours began in the summer of 2008 at a center called Emmanuel Counseling Center. HIV and AIDS is a reality for many, but it is empowered even more. An African proverb says that the pillar of the world is hope. Oni is one of many pillars of hope in Botswana. If you are not infected, you are affected.
I am who I am today because of the infection that I got.
My sister, my own sister and my only sister, I learned that she was HIV positive.
I'm from a group that dances our traditional music and song. So he was one of our members. So he did die of the disease. So it really affected the group at large and myself.
A virus that is killing the people that you know and that are close to you. Obviously it will affect you emotionally.
If your mom is sick, suffering from HIV and AIDS, obviously people outside there will take you in a negative way, and that way it may end up affecting you somehow.
I can really say that here in Botswana, if you're not affected, you are infected.
Most of the people who are affected by HIV or AIDS are those people who are going to be our leaders for tomorrow, people who are capable of producing products in our country.
Basically my space, my social space is crowded with people who are HIV/AIDS positive. It's sort of like this thing that comes creeping up into your face and say, if you don't do anything about me, I'm going to slap you across the face. So you say, okay, sorry, sir.
There are other conditions that can develop, and some of them are untreatable, like what I'm going through now.
From the workplace to your home, it can make you regret who you are.
God, one day if I regret disclosing my status was at the doctor telling him I'm HIV infected. I regretted my infection on that particular day. To disclose made me get treated differently.
I've seen people who are discriminated against at their workplace or families back at home, and the minute you're seen feeding a child out of a bottle, they would know that this is an HIV/AIDS case. And
we as Botswana are discriminating people, whether disabled people, white people, and people who are affected by, who are HIV positive.
They're being stigmatized at school, and they also just think, what are these people going to say about me behind my back? What am I going to do?
Like AIDS is not for a particular maybe rage or particular type of people.
A person who's HIV positive can live longer than someone who's HIV negative.
But will they leave that person of car accident without help? No. Will they leave that patient of diabetes without help? No. But why would they not do it for me because I have HIV?
We know, and now we must do.
Knowing one's status is the beginning of a responsible life and is the proper fight against HIV. Because if you don't know, how will you protect yourself or others?
It's really scary to get tested, Yeah, it is.
My role is to advise other youth to change their behavior and to go for testing, but much to change their behavior, because at times people can go for testing, but after that after they've tested, they don't change their behavior, and that way it becomes useless to test.
I've done several things, like worked with other youth who I think are not as privileged as I was in growing up, and trying to sensitize them about HIV/AIDS.
I've learned a lot about AIDS, so my role is to go out now and go to the youth to teach them, to educate them more about AIDS, how bad it is and how it kills.
Stand up, as a nation, fight against HIV, teach people, how to prevent themselves from this dangerous disease,
I think that people of Botswana can learn from each other by word of mouth, that this HIV issue is very seriously. It's not just something that is just said, it's something that is happening to us, we as a whole.
My role mostly is, I'm like abstaining, and I think it can contribute much to some of the teenagers like me. Can just give them motivation. They can be motivated by the way I act.
In the music that we sing and dance, we convey the message of AIDS, around Africa, around Botswana, around the world, that talks about AIDS and how it has affected the country and what we are doing to eliminate it. So we send that through song and dance.
It's unfair for you to keep an event that shall last you a lifetime a secret from your immediate family and those that matter in your life.
Children and youth are the light of our future. We cannot become the lost generation.
There are some people who will not know anything or accept anything until it has happened to them.
But there are some, outcast areas like rural areas where, the government doesn't reach out to people. The areas that would be kids who would be, our future leaders, those who doesn't know about it, and probably by the time that they come into our urban areas, they would be affected by that tremendously because they wouldn't even know about the disease,
if you look at the demography of this country, more than half of the population is either children or youth. That means if we become the lost generation, there's no one to manage this country. The prevalence rates have dropped within the youth cohort, and I see a very big change happening there, especially if policy, I'll keep on saying policy towards youth is changed.
Empower more youth on behavior change because the youth are the most able bodies for this moment.
I believe that if the government could introduce more youth centers to the country, then it will be able to attract more young people. Then instead of spending much time in the activities that would put them at risk, then they would come here and they would go to those youth centers where they would spend much time safe and free of HIV and AIDS.
But I feel our government has been of great help, especially with the enrollment of free ARVs, because in that they've increased the lifespan of people who are HIV positive.
There's a workshop which used to take place. It's called a Bashali Sedi. It means that the youth are the light of the future.
I've never kept my status a secret, and I think I am where I am now due to that, not keeping it a secret.
This is everyone's war. It has to be within me to create a change.
HIV is real and it has no borders. It has no color skin, it has no nationality, it doesn't need a passport or a visa, it just enters. As long as you don't take the precautions, you get it.
Because you cannot add more, you cannot go spreading more HIV to other people.
AIDS is affecting mostly youth, and I think it's because parents do not talk to their children.
If a family member, if a friend gets sick, I have to do something. It has to be within me to do something to create a change.
Because once you know that there is a thief that has come into your house, it will be better because you'd be knowing what you are fighting. But if you don't know that there's a stranger in your house, then you won't even fight because you wouldn't know what you're fighting.
Some people are probably ignorant about the situation, in Botswana, But I think the youth in Canada should be told that, this thing is really affected Africa and Botswana.
The youth in Canada, they should learn that HIV in Botswana is everybody's war. We are all fighting HIV, starting from adolescent stage to adulthood.
You guys in Canada, what you need to understand about HIV in Botswana, because it's the most growing disease ever here in our country, which can kill around 10 people in one day.
We should join hands together, not work as Botswana and Canada being partners. No, that won't help for that too. They have to involve all the countries so that each country can come with their ideas. Maybe in the coming years there'll be a cure for AIDS. You see, if they work together.
I would like people to Canada to know that HIV is nothing just to be said. It's something that is just happening all around, and this thing is really affecting us and infecting us every day. It's something that is happening every day. You should really know your status. Without knowing your status, it's more like you don't know where you are in this world. I think you really should know.
Maybe the world should keep on, preaching that AIDS is not curable, and everybody should stick to one partner, and they should condomize whenever they indulge in sexual activities.
We still need assistance from people outside there, especially on how we can develop our behavior or change our behavior.
It's real, it kills. You guys have what it takes to support and learn from us as much as we learn from you as Canadians. And
it was tough when I got it, but within 30 minutes, I also had to make a decision. I must make it positive.
A positive decision, a healthy choice. A difficult finding made into an empowering journey. We entered Botswana knowing the devastating statistics, but were quickly overwhelmed by the desire for behavior change and the need for a positive future. Our journey will continue on a positive path, knowing the determination of Oni and many others. The youth in Botswana are the many pillars of the world. The youth is our hope. How can you be a pillar of hope?